Hi everyone, it's Nat here. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm on with the first of two tutorials using all the goodies that I unboxed the other week from Globleland. I will link the unboxing down below in case you missed it if you want to go and see what I got. So today I want to use these awesome dies that I bought. I love these. I thought these would be great for using up some scraps. Now, there'll be a link below to Globleland, so click on that if you want to go and check out what they've got. There's also going to be a coupon code, which is NAT10, and that's for 10% off of your order if you do purchase anything. Make sure to use that at checkout. There'll also be a link to the products that I'm using over the next couple of weeks in case you see something you like and you want to go directly to that product. So yes, I did grab these. Nice big die set, very decently priced. I just love this because there's such a good variety of shapes, and being your nesting dies, you can create all sorts of wonderful things with them. So I have so many ideas, but I will try and keep it simple today because I can always show you more in the future. So I'll be using a pile of these shapes. And what I did was grab a whole pile of scraps to cut out of. So I'll just show you a little selection. I've got some old music paper here. I've got some old text page. I've got some manila folder scraps. I've got craft cardstock scraps, suspension file folder scraps, pretty cardstock scraps, and scraps of your plain coloured cardstock as well. So that's the type of thing that I will be using. I will grab some different designs and that along the way. Now with my text page and my music paper, that is quite thin. So what I'll probably do is back that onto some of the file folder before I cut. So what I will do is stick some of that together, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm going to go about my die cutting. So as you can see, I've got my big shot here ready to do some die cutting, and I have grabbed some various shapes, and I've grabbed not the biggest size but the 2 down for the project that I'm doing. I've also backed my book page and my music paper onto some of the file folder, manila file folder, so that's ready to cut as well. So we will start cutting some shapes, I think. So I might start with, actually we can fit both of our bits on like that, and I'm thinking we will try some of our cardstock as well. So that would probably fit underneath. We'll see if we can get 2 done at the same time. And then I might work on my bigger size dies to begin with. Okay, I think that'll do. So now we will put our lid on. Try not to move things. And we'll run this through. And it's cut perfectly through both. And we've got our 2 shapes there. So it's a great way of using up some scraps to get all sorts of shapes that you can use in numerous different projects. You could use these. So I'll just chop this bit off, and we can still reuse that bit. So I'll put that back on there ready to use. And we'll do some plain and we've got some more scrapbook paper here. I think I'll use that side. It's got a bit of a fold there, but so what I might do is chop it where that fold is so we don't get that in our die cuts. And I'll put that on top so I can see how big it is. So it's just a case of grabbing your scraps, doubling them up if you want. And you get more each time you pass through. So for this one, I'll be grabbing my 2 dies and trying to stick the little one inside the big one, trying to get them sort of even, an even space between all the edges. And then sticking them together with washi tape, like that. So that's the plan. And then we'll be putting them on to cut our shape out. So we'll fit a few of those on. And these dies are cutting through these 2 layers of cardstock very easily, so. Just be a little careful because the inside can be sharp. That leaves us with, if we have a look here, out of those 2 pass-throughs, we've got all the different shapes, but we have the little one like this, which we can use for something. And we've got our frames. The only thing with the frames is because I don't get the dies perfectly centered, you just have to be careful if you end up layering these that they go together okay, because it might be a little different in shape. And so that'd make a nice frame around our bigger bit there. So I have here my die cut pieces. I have 2 cardstock backing pieces. I also die cut some acetate or transparency there, the same shape and size. And I have 2 frame pieces. I also have a little printout of a little person. And I punched some music notes. I have a paper clip there which I coloured with alcohol marker to make look more vintage. So firstly I've grabbed this black piece which is going to be the backing piece, and I want to punch a little notch into that using my circle punch. So just a tiny little notch up the top there. And that's so I can sink my paper clip on the back down a bit so that we don't see it sticking out the top of my paper clip. So then I slip my paper clip over the top of the backing piece. Now this piece is going to be the front. And that's going to sit on top of the paper clip there. So we want to stick that down, so I'm applying glue on that whole piece. I'm just using tacky glue here. I also add some glue liberally to the paper clip just to make sure that stays in place. Then I sandwich it all together. Now I'm trying not to press down too much on this top piece. I do press around the edges a bit, and while the glue is wet, you want to make sure that you've got it fitting properly. And then I turn it over and I press down on the back. That way the bulk of the paper clip will be to the back there, and it won't be all bumpy on the front of our frame, and it'll keep the front nice and flat for embellishment. So that's the base of our paper clip. And I've got 2 frame pieces, so I can layer them up. So with my little man, I fussy cut him out, and then I inked around the edges just to take away any whiteness. I'm just checking where the little man's going to sit within the frame, so I know where to stick him. And I put the frames together just to make sure I've got them both in the way they were cut out, so that I can't see the edge of the underneath one sticking out from the top one in case there's some unevenness. So I know where to stick my little man so he sits nicely in the frame now. I'm using tweezers. It's a lot easier to apply the glue and put the piece down when they're so little like that. It's a lot easier using the tweezers. So I stick him down where I want him. Just scraping away any glue that's come out of the edges. Again, I turn it around to press it down to make sure it's stuck properly. Again, so I don't get the bulk of the paper clip coming through the front. So now we've got to stick our first frame piece on. It is a little fiddly to do, but you're able to wiggle the frame around a bit to make sure that you've got it sitting evenly where you want it while the glue's wet. So I do a bit of repositioning there. So you could just leave it like that. It looks pretty cool. Just using my pokey tool to scrape away some of the glue. Again, turn it over to press it down. Now I have my music notes, so I want to put them on. Now with this design, you could make it a shaker paper clip as well. You'd probably want to add a few more layers of frame to give you the height for your shaker pieces to move around under your acetate. I didn't really want to do a shaker with this. It gets a bit bulky to put in your journals. So I add a couple of music notes. Could add all sorts. I was going to raid my craft room and find a whole lot of stuff, but it would have taken me forever, so I'll have to make a whole heap more in the future. And now it's time to get our little window piece ready for the top. So the acetate piece here is, I die cut that as well with the same die as the frames and the background. But I want to make it just a tad smaller, so I cut a couple of millimeters all around the edge there off of it. I just think that helps when you you'll be sticking it to that top frame piece and then sticking it to the base, and I just think that allows for some of the glue to make contact with both bits of cardboard, which should hold it together a lot better than if you're sticking acetate to the cardboard. That's my theory anyway. Of course, you want to leave enough of the acetate to be able to adhere it to that top frame, so you only want to take a couple of millimeters off. So again, just double checking I've got my frame the way I want it. And then when you put your glue on, you've got to be careful not to put too much glue on and not too close to the inside edge, or it will leak out onto your acetate. So that's why I use my finger just to rub some of the bigger bulky bits off a bit. And then you apply that to the acetate, or pick up the acetate with it. It's very hard to see. Just make sure no edges are sticking out. Now, I did get a tiny bit of glue there out onto my acetate, and I've learnt the hard way, don't wipe it. If you do, you have a big smear of glue on your acetate. So what I do is get my little pokey tool and just scrape, sort of lift the glue up, just using the back of the pokey tool there just to press the acetate onto the cardboard there. Make sure it's stuck nicely. Now you can add glue to the inside part, again not too close to the edge and not too much. But because we cut those few millimeters off, I can get glue. You want to get a bit on the acetate and a bit onto the cardboard around the outside as well, and that should adhere nicely to the top of our paper clip. So I think that's a really cute paper clip to add to your journals, and of course you could put anything in these and they would look great. I've got so many ideas, but yes, I had to finish this video, so I just stuck to something simple to start off with. So you just press that down, let it dry, and there's your paper clip. Now, I decided that I wanted to use these little dies that are in the middle of the nests. They are so cool, and they're so little, so it's a great way to do some scrap busting. So I grabbed a pile of them out, and then I grabbed all the scraps from my previous die cutting, because you've still got, you know, the little bits of cardboard around the outside. So I would use all of them with these little dies and make a whole pile of these in the future. Here I have some cardboard that I like poking holes on, and I've got my awl. You can see in the dies there's the little hole there that you use to poke your die cuts out. What I did was when I took these out, I left them in the actual die so that I could use that hole as a guide to put a little hole in there. The only thing is then I realised that I couldn't get it out very easy. So I just put my pokey tool in there and sort of pry it out, lever it out. But that way you've got like a hole right in the centre where you want it to make little tiny tags. So that's what I do with all of them. So this is the result of that die cutting session, a whole lot of little tags. So we finished off cutting out all those little tags. And then what I did, I love this one, is I made all of these. And I think these are so cool and cute. So I'll just spread them out so you can see what we've got here. So I grabbed some of my stamp sets and I tried to find little stamps that would fit on these little tags. And this is what I've come up with. You could do all sorts on these as well, and I think these are so cute. So you can write on your black cardstock with your white gel pen. So I've got a Signo pen here that I picked up from the news agency. These write well on your black cardstock. So I trialed it and did a little happy face. So yes, I'm very grateful for having some stamps, because if I had to doodle on all of them, you'd get a whole lot of emojis probably. I also did like a price. So if you're pricing some of your product or something, these would make awesome little price tags. So I did that with the white gel pen as well. And then just all the stamping that I did. And so these ones are just layered. So I've got a black one there and then the green one on top. Had this little hello stamp, which I think is so cute. I'd love to send some little packages to people and put these hooked on them. Got another hello there. These are the tiniest little die cuts, but aren't they cool? Again, great little price tags. So number one, I did that with the one of your build your own stamp sets. Smudged it a bit, but that's all right. Some brown numbers. They look really good on the manila file folder. And that one's got a background cardstock one as well. Did some on my text paper. And then another one there. So I love those. I'd make heaps of these. I think these would look so cool in your journals. You could do them with all sorts of different pretty cardstock, or with your vintage papers and that, and they'd look really neat, and all sorts of different stamps. And for the tie, I just used offcuts. When I do my book binding, I just grabbed that out because I always have a bit of extra cotton, and I don't like throwing it in the bin, so I put it in here and use it for smaller projects. So it's great to recycle these bits and pieces. So that's what I did with the little bits and pieces that I just die cut. Love those, they're so much fun. You could of course do different sized die cuts and stick them on top of each other and make layered ones, and that would look really neat as well. And then we've got the paper clips. So there's the one that we did together, the music notes. And then I'll show you the paper clips first. Then we've got this one. And with this one I put in some glitter. Then we've got another one with a music note and some music paper in the background. And then a lady here. And she's got some gold glitter. And they're both paper clips as well. So those are our 4 paper clips that I made. Of course, you could do all sorts of different designs there. And then you can also do them without the paper clips. And these only have the one layer of frame on them. And I've made the pictures just a little bit bigger in the middle there. So I've got that one. So you could just stick them on a page, or you could add a string or a ribbon and make a little tag out of them. I've got that one. Now these two, I'll just put that one down. It's got some scrapbook paper around the edge there. These two I used one of your Queen stamps and I cut the picture of the Queen out. I think that looks really cute. So that'd be so cool just to stick on the top of a page or in the middle of a tag or something like that. Great little embellishments. So they are the projects that I made, and you can see here that these slip really easily down onto a book page. So you Could use them as bookmarks. I just think they're really cute. And you could put flowers and all sorts in these. So I'll probably make heaps of different ones of these in the future. So they are my projects. It's my first tutorial with using the Globleland items that I got this time around. So I'll have another video up in the next week using the other pieces. I think I've still got some stencils and some stamps to have a play with, so that's going to be heaps of fun. So I hope that gave you some ideas. They are awesome dies. I absolutely love them. I did see other people get them, and so I had to go get some of them myself. So don't forget to use the code NAT10 if you do purchase anything, and use the link below to head on over to Globleland if you want to have a look at what they've got. There'll also be links to the products that I am using in case you want to go straight to them. So take care of yourselves, happy crafting, and I will see you again soon. Bye.